Hey everyone, this is Jordan. This video is being recorded on the evening of Friday, April 5th, 2024. Thank you so much for tuning in. What a week it was for precious metals. In this video, just going to provide a technical update and outlook for next week on gold, silver, and the mining stocks. And let's get into it. So first chart here, we have gold and silver, the weekly candle charts, gold at the top, silver at the bottom. I'll talk more on the next slide, but there is a little bit of a gap here for gold, gapped up this week. There is some support, 2200, a little bit below that. So that's something to bear in mind. 2345 now. There's two near-term measured upside targets. You have 2350, and 2350 is based on this little cup and handle. So cup here, handle here. So the upside target for that is 2350. Now, this with kind of a longer, this could be a cup with, kind of a longer handle, projects to 2500. So when you have, you're looking at an upside target and the market approaches that target, that's also potential resistance. So 2350 is potential resistance for gold. Now, silver, very strong weekly candle here. No doubt about it. Well above 26. This consolidation here, 26.18. So that measures up to 34. And I've talked about in other videos where 34, like if you're looking at the quarterly chart, 33, 34 is resistance. And also, I think the all-time yearly high close for silver is in that range. So expect 34 to be the new 26 for silver. But, looking at this weekly chart here, we can see that, here you can see these ticks here. And this line is about, I want to say 2850, 2860. I mean, remember when the market shot up to 30 here, but I mean, it tested 29 for a number of weeks. So looking at this, the next resistance could be, just call it 2850. So 2850, and it's possible silver has so much momentum, 2750. That's only $1 higher. So silver next week could continue up to 2850, maybe even 29 before you start to see a pullback. So it's possible that silver could come back and retest 26. Now let's look at the daily charts and pay attention to the candles here. So this is gold, this is silver. Gold-silver ratio at the bottom. We'll get to that. But looking at the price action for gold, so you have support, you have initial support here right around 2250 and then just below 2200. So looking here, we can see that the market is kind of gappy. There's a gap here, gapped up again. So when you see a series of gaps, that means the market is kind of getting emotional. There's stronger momentum. And so the first couple of gaps are not necessarily bearish, but we have one gap, 2, 3, 4. There wasn't a gap today, but there's quite a few gaps here. And so at some point, gold could be getting tired. And it'd be totally fine if gold ran up to 2350, that target, and corrected. And maybe it comes back down and fills this gap here at 2240. Or even here. I mean, I'm not predicting it's going to come all the way back here, but that's just a possibility that you have to be mindful of. Or maybe it goes to 2500. And then the next correction, it comes back and comes back down, and maybe it fills this gap down here at 2240, but not this one here. So, yeah, this gap here probably, you never know. But first gap, there's a lot of strength here. So I would be more concerned if I was a short-term trader about this gap filling and this gap filling. And so these gaps getting filled in gold, that would align with this gap here right at 26 and silver getting filled. So everything going on in silver is great. But again, like I said, there's a lot of resistance. Here's the daily chart. You can see that 2850, even I could have put one at 29. So 2850, 29 is resistance. So not that much more upside for silver. So it makes sense it could continue up a little bit more. And then maybe it comes back to 26 and does a retest. Again, this is it's not a prediction, but it's just a possibility. And so gold coming back and filling these gaps, silver could come back and fill these gaps. But nevertheless, in any event, the market is still in really good shape. Next big target for silver is 34. The immediate target, you could say 28.50, maybe 29. Gold-silver ratio. You guys know I'm not a huge fan of trend lines. Trend lines make sense when there's numerous touches to the trend line. Here you can see it starts here, 1 touch, 2 touch, 3, 4, 5. It's okay to draw a trend line when you have that many touches. It's just the ones when there's 2 or 3 touch, those just drive me insane because they're forced trend lines. But anyway, so we can see here, this is gold divided by silver. So there's really strong support for the ratio at 65. I've showed this in other charts. So we're at 85 now. At some point, this ratio is the market, I should say, is probably going to break below this trend line. And that could be what's needed and what gets silver to go from 28 to 34. Potentially, these are just things I'm thinking about. We probably need this ratio to break to the downside in favor of silver for silver to make that move all the way to 34. Okay, so last slide here. We have the miners daily charts here with the 200-day moving averages. GDX here, GDXJ in the middle, SILJ, the silver juniors at the bottom. And they all look pretty similar in the last couple weeks in that the sector, with respect to all these miners, they rallied up to a resistance target. Yesterday, they did a little pullback. Today, they were much higher again. So, again, GDX, we can see this was the level. This was the resistance level they were coming up to. If you zoom in, a little bit of a pullback yesterday, maybe a retest. So, it's possible that it continues higher next week. And then here you get some kind of a short-term peak. Maybe I'm talking about a retest in the last slide. Maybe you get a move up like that and then a retest like this before you get to the next upside target, which is going to be, I mean, that's another video, but probably around 40. Yeah, and the other thing, if you look at this, this is right here. This looks like a bull flag. So you have this bullish consolidate, boom. So that's kind of like a bull flag. And I put this out to premium subscribers in a flash update. So I think the measured upside target is 35. For this one, I think the measured upside is 43. And then for Silge, I think we're looking at 12. So again, this is what a bull flag looks like. You have a really strong move, and then you have a bullish consolidation. In a flag, the market digests it, but it basically barely corrects in terms of price. So these are bull flags. And again, the measured upside targets on all these are basically the next red line. So we could continue a little bit higher next week, and then we could get maybe a bit of a sustained correction. And again, maybe that's at 28.50 or 29 silver. That's all for the video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you haven't already, head over to thedailygold.com/premium. Consider my premium newsletter. The bull market is here, people. It's time to make money. And it's going to be really exciting in the next couple years. I'm really looking forward to making gains and making significant gains, potentially life-changing gains over the next couple years. That's what we're trying to do. Thank you so much. Hope you had a great week, and I wish you all a great weekend. Talk to you guys again next week.